The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for 5 primary asset challenges and how to solve them. My name is Emily Rhodes. I'm the Director of Marketing at Liquid Frameworks, and I will be acting as the moderator for our webinar today. First, let's start with some housekeeping notes. We've muted the phone lines on our end to avoid any interruptions during the presentation today. We will, however, allow time for a short question and answer session at the end of the presentation. So if you have a question, please enter it in the chat section on the right-hand side of the screen, and we will answer it at the end of the presentation. If we don't have time for all of the questions, we'll be sure to follow up with you personally after the webinar. Next, I'd like to introduce our speakers. Joining us today, we have Bobby Kazak, the FX EAM Account Executive at Liquid Frameworks, Chad Musgrove, VP of Finance at TechFlow, and Brady Koch, Solutions Engineer with Liquid Frameworks. So today we're exploring 5 asset management challenges and how the FX EAM module can help to solve them. We're also lucky to have Chad Musgrove from TechFlow on the webinar to share their field FX story and why they made the move to FX EAM. So with that, let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to turn this over to Bobby.
Thank you for that introduction, Emily. Thank you to everybody who joined the webinar today as well. So let's talk EAM. I know most everybody thinks of us as a quote-to-cash market leader, but we're really a lot more than that. With modules including our customer self-service portal, schedule and dispatch, and most importantly, EAM, we're really a complete field services solution. Over the last few years, we've spent a lot of time in refineries and on well sites conducting interviews, working to enhance our enterprise asset management product in a way that's impactful to our customers who are in these industries that you see here. Our customers have been the main driver of our development of EAM. FX EAM allows them to take full advantage of the data we already captured today through field ticketing. This enables customers to better manage their assets from day one. I wanted to quickly lay out our current field FX offering. We have 2 central applications, e-ticketing and FX EAM. EAM has really been a game changer. In fact, most new business we do is with FX EAM or includes FX EAM. I'm not going to cover all the modules listed here, but I do want to touch on a couple products that interact with EAM. I have them highlighted in orange. The first one I have highlighted is e-ticketing. E-ticketing handles all of the job ticketing and gathers any job information. When combined with FX EAM, your assets can relate to that job data. The next is schedule and dispatch. You can schedule your jobs and truly see if an asset is in maintenance, on a job, or in a yard. The final 2 are FX Forms and FX Analytics, which come standard across our product set. FX Forms includes JSAs, inspection forms, any form that you'd want to relate to your asset. FX Analytics gives you that visibility into asset management so you can make informed decisions. So let's dive into EAM. Just a level set, I'm going to start with a definition. This is what we've really developed our product around. Enterprise asset management is the management and maintenance of physical assets of an organization throughout each asset's lifecycle. I think the key to this definition is management through an asset's lifecycle. Organizations need clear visibility of their assets, and they really need a system that enables them to track any and all data points on those assets. So I have this diagram here, which really shows the life cycle. This is where EAM starts at the procurement of assets through the replacement of assets. So I'm going to quickly touch on each aspect. We start with procurement of assets. This is the acquisition and stocking of assets, inventory or stock items. Then I have commissioning. This is preparing an asset for use. You may be doing inspections of assets during this phase or relating assets together as one larger asset and its subcomponents. We have operations. This is when an asset is used for its intended purpose. When an asset is on a job, you should be able to record data on that job, the revenue involved, the location, how the asset is used as well. We have maintenance, of course. These are the actions you take to keep your asset in tip-top shape. A solution should be able to house all information and documentation required to perform that work order. It should also track all of the data involved in performing the maintenance function. Decommissioning is a retirement of assets and the point where you may need to recycle parts of that asset. And finally, once an asset is decommissioned, you replace that asset. So this is just an outline. When we get to the demo today, you'll be able to see firsthand how our solution manages these processes.
All right, thanks, Bobby. Now let's turn things over to Chad from TechFlow. Hey, Chad, could you please tell us a little bit about TechFlow and your use of field effects?
Sure. Thanks for having me. So yeah, we TechFlow. We are in artificial lift. Our main product that we sell and service is the downhole jet pump, as well as surface systems and other accompanying products as well. We started with FieldFX, I believe, in 2013, yeah, so the immediate need that we had was we had an issue with handwritten tickets. The biggest issue was that we saw that there were tickets that were not being turned in. They were lost. The employees couldn't find them. They have to redo them days, weeks later. They have inaccurate pricing. We have a pretty extensive, or what I feel is an extensive inventory list. So there's a lot of back and forth on determining correct pricing, illegible handwriting. Not only could we not understand what they were writing, but the customers certainly couldn't. And then DSO, extended DSO. So we would find that these our employees would leave these in their trucks for weeks at a time, and at times not even get turned in. So we had an extended DSO period that was beyond what we thought was acceptable. In 2013, we knew we needed a solution, and we went out and started looking. There weren't many options. I believe at the time there were just a few competitors of Liquid Frameworks, and we chose Liquid Frameworks, one, because they were here close to us in the Houston area, but they were also more cost effective. The implementation was going to be more simplistic than the competitors. So yeah, we really liked the team, and we chose them in 2013. As far as how we're using FieldFX today, we are primarily using it as field ticketing. We absolutely see the value in the system as a whole, and there's plenty of opportunity that we see for FieldFX in our use application. And one of those was EAM, and the reason we wanted to pursue this path was we had just invested in a substantial amount into our rental fleet, and our rental units cost anywhere from 150, around $150,000. We were putting multiple units out pretty quickly, and so we just needed a way to manage and take care of these things, because they were such a big cost, and EAM was really exactly what we were looking for. So the first goal was to get all of our rental units in one centralized location, and to be able to report on that data. We need a location to where we know the parts that are on each of these units, this pressure and sizes, and a lot of the related data that goes into these assets, and to be able to report on them. And so that EAM certainly has that ability, and is quite frankly pretty easy to implement. The next thing is we had to establish a preventative maintenance schedule. We have monthly preventive maintenance schedules, and in order to keep up with all of them, we needed one centralized location to be able to do that, and that EAM has that ability. We set these up on date-driven. These are date-driven work orders, so we set it up for a 30-day schedule, and so a work order will be created every 30 days and be sent out to our service hands, and that is how we're managing the preventative maintenance schedule. In the future, so our plan is to really get granular with this and run our preventive maintenance schedules on our actual run times versus days. And so what we're going to do, the plan is to bring in our data from our SCADA systems and utilize the run times versus the date-driven. Yeah, so one of the other things we have not done yet, and it is in our pipeline, is we sell a lot of this equipment that we sell to our customers, or a lot of it that we rent to our customers, we also sell. So at the same time that we want to make sure we're taking care of our own equipment, we want to make sure we're taking care of our customers' equipment as well. So what we're going to use with this EAM platform is we're going to put in the customer-owned equipment with our equipment to be able to utilize those same preventative maintenance schedules, not only on our equipment but our customers as well. And we're really looking forward to that, and think it's going to be a really good value add to the customers. So that is one thing we're working on, because again, our customers, making sure our customers' equipment is properly running and maintained is just as big as making sure our own is as well. So one thing that we're really excited about, and we really want to have a little more in-depth knowledge on, to be able to go to one place to look at the issues in the life of this rental unit, is being able to integrate it with our field ticketing. So if a rental unit, for instance, the life of, say, a 2-year life of a rental unit, we want to be able to see what has happened on that rental unit over the course of that whatever period you're looking at, and you're going to have service that may not be your standard preventative maintenance service. So this could be something happens at the well site, and it's standard maintenance, and generally that's coming from the standard field ticket is where that data is going to be captured. So what we're able to do with EAM is we're able to tie that back to the asset itself, which is housed in EAM. And so we're able to look at not only the preventive maintenance tickets, but also the standard service tickets. So we can drill down to a specific unit and see not only the preventative maintenance tickets, but the standard service tickets, regardless of location. So if that has been on 5 different locations at 5 different customer sites, we'll be able to see all of that information at the asset level at any given time.
All right. Well, thanks so much for sharing the TechFlow story and your use case of EAM on the webinar today, Chad. We really appreciate you being with us. And so, Bobby, now why don't we go ahead and dive into these asset management challenges and see if Brady can actually solve them with the FX EAM module.
Thanks, Emily. Yeah, now I've got my pal Brady with me, and together we're going to be doing an interactive demo today. Really what it is, like she said, is on the common challenges. We talked to different prospective customers, and these are really the common challenges that we've heard from them. And we're going to cover 5 today. So the first challenge is reactive maintenance. Most organizations have reactive or corrective maintenance. This means they have a policy of fixing something unless it's broken, until it's broken. So a good example here is everyone has had this experience with a car. For me, it was my Jeep Grand Cherokee. When I bought it, I just knew I was going to take great care of it. I was going to do the oil changes, get the tires rotated, get my engine checked at different mileage. I was going to follow the preventative maintenance schedule that the dealership had set up for me. But what happened? Over time, I got a little lazy. I skipped some maintenance, didn't get it checked as often. And then boom, my engine started smoking on my commute to work. I took it to the dealership, and of course they said it was going to cost a ton of money to fix. And so like many people, I ended up replacing it years earlier than I had planned. If I kept up with preventative maintenance, that car would still be in good shape, and I'd still have money in the bank. This applies to businesses as well. On average, you spend 5 times more on corrective maintenance than preventative maintenance. On top of that, in the work world, nobody is going to feel that type of love or ownership for the asset. This means that you have to actually count on systems and procedures to keep you on schedule with preventative maintenance. So what's my solution? Of course, preventative maintenance. It's a single source of truth that centralizes and tracks your maintenance schedules for assets and equipment. This is the benefit of preventative maintenance. It can be triggered by calendar, for example, yearly, monthly, maybe weekly, by meter, including mileage, time down hole, number of uses. For meter, it can be triggered by a field ticket, an IoT sensor, a post-job inspection, anything that you would normally trigger a work order by. We also have automation. Starting with maintenance being automatically triggered, you can then automatically assign a pre-populated work order to departments or technicians. This work order can include tasks or steps that those technicians can then follow through their maintenance. We've seen that automation leads to a productivity savings of 20 to 30%. This also leads to reduced maintenance costs and increased asset life. So that's challenge number 1. Brady, you're up. Can you show what preventative maintenance looks like in the system?
I can, Bobby. Thank you. Preventative maintenance challenge 1, accepted. For this challenge, I'll play the role of a maintenance manager here at Parka Energy Services. We'll start out here on my Field Effects home screen, where I have nicely displayed all of my personal dashboards. From here, I can quickly see any new work orders that have been created since the last time I checked, past due work orders by owner, along with my equipment certifications expiring soon, my equipment health scores, and my utilization tracker. To see what an asset might look like in Field Effects, let's drill into this pickup truck 17 that I was recently working on. Here we can see anything and everything related to this asset, our single source of truth for truck 17. I've got make, model, VIN, current mileage. I can see here on my health score that it's green, letting me know very quickly that this asset's in good working condition and good to go out on a job. Then below, we even have an image of this asset. Finally, on the right side of the screen here, we have our asset hierarchy visualizer, where I can see this asset along with any related assets or parent-child relationships that may be related to this pickup truck. So we've got a utility trailer and a generator that are subcomponents of this truck. In our EAM tab here, we can see all preventative maintenance schedules, PM group schedules, and work orders, what they're for, when they're due, and if or when they were completed. Let's take a look at this first 3,000 mile preventative maintenance schedule. As Bobby mentioned, preventative maintenance schedules can be both calendar and meter based. So we can see here that this oil change needs to happen every 6 months or 3,000 miles. Our current odometer reading on truck 17 looks like it's 21,150 miles, and our next meter-based PM schedule is due at 21,175. So we don't have very far to go before we need to change the oil on this truck. And whichever condition is met first, the system will automatically create a work order for us based on the model or template work order that we've developed for planning purposes. For those of us leveraging the inherent integration with FieldFX EAM and e-ticketing, let's see what it might look like to trigger a preventative work order simply by capturing billable data on a field ticket. To do this, I'll switch into our mobile application. Whereas a field technician here at Parker Energy Services, potentially offline or away from the internet, I can go into my jobs. Today we're working at this Total Petrochemicals Port Arthur plant job. I can see some header level information here, but today I just really need to go into my ticket. You can see JJ's our company man, and I need to make sure I add my mileage to this ticket. Thanks, dispatcher. So here on the ticket items, I can quickly go in and simply add my mileage for this mileage charge on a ticket. At the end of the day, I need to get my ticket signed. So we'll generate a new field ticket. Wait, what's that? JJ's already gone for the day? That's okay. We'll just send this to the customer portal where he can go in later, where he can log in and sign it the next time he signs in. Switching back to the EAM Maintenance Manager homepage, we'll now see that because we captured this mileage on the field ticket, when we refresh my Maintenance Manager dashboard, my new work orders has gone from 0 to 1. So that 100 miles traveled with pickup truck 17 put us over that preventative maintenance schedule threshold, and the system automatically generated this work order for us, where it can now be assigned to one of my my mechanics, or it could go into a queue where a mechanic could go self-assign themselves or claim work orders as they come in. So with that, Bobby, I think that completes challenge number 1. What do you think?
Brady, that was really cool. I couldn't have done it any better. So let's move on to challenge number 2, which is really having asset documentation and history. Most service organizations have a very poor visibility of assets and equipment, including the history of those assets. External audits are becoming a bigger aspect of doing business with large organizations, and a lot of companies would feel vulnerable if an audit was done. I believe that every organization wants the ability to choose an asset and understand all of the jobs it has participated in and understand all the aspects of maintenance that it's been involved in. So that's where our solution comes in, which is work order management. Service companies need a complete work order management solution to appropriately track and manage assets and equipment. We have a very robust work order management system. You'll be able to see your assets' entire job maintenance history. Our solution also provides parent-child hierarchies. This ties a sub-asset to an activity. This includes the job or maintenance it's been on. Another way we can help is through forms or documentation. These are all tracked in the asset. This includes inspections, warranties, financial documents, whatever's really important to your organization. And finally, our system also tracks hours and costs. We track the projected and actual labor costs associated with maintenance, and the projected and actual cost of spare parts or inventory used. This capability will give you real cost of ownership and cost of maintenance. Paired with ticketing data, you'll be able to measure the margin and utilization of a given asset. Brady, I know I went through that quick, and you have a lot to show for work order management, but are you up to the challenge?
All right. Work order management challenge number 2 accepted. So staying in the role of the maintenance manager here at Parka, let's go back to our single source of truth for that pickup truck 17. From here, we can quickly drill into any e-ticketing related items, such as certifications, equipment planning records, and ticket items related to this asset. My Files tab allows me to upload documents that I want to store with this asset. That might be an owner's manual or warranty paperwork, maybe a spec sheet or a bill of materials, really any documentation that you have or I have in an electronic form, I could store that here so that it lives with this asset. To see what all we're tracking on work orders, let's take a look at one we've recently completed. At the top here, we have work order details, including status and priority. Next, we have instructions, planning and scheduling, and finally, costing, planned versus actual. Now, what happens when a customer asks me to provide a maintenance history report on an asset before I can send it on their job? In the past, it might take me hours or even days to track down all the documentation needed to provide my customer with a complete maintenance history for this asset, but not anymore. With FieldFX EAM, I can have this report generated and sent to my customer in a matter of seconds. With that, Bobby, I think that completes challenge number 2.
I like that, Brady. You never fail to impress. That was great. All right, so now we're on to challenge number 3. What I'm going to do is actually do challenge 3 and 4 together. They're both pretty similar and about inventory, and so I think that might be easier to show when you're doing the demo. So sorry for throwing you a little bit of a curveball, Brady. So challenge number 3 is spare parts leakage. We've done a lot of customer interviews, and one thing that is in common for inventory is allowing mechanics to remove spare parts or consumables. It's hard for a company to know what to order if they don't know what has been consumed. Many companies are guilty of ordering new parts or assets when it has been in the back of a warehouse or at a yard nearby. This can cost millions. In fact, we have a customer that came to us, and they recognized that after they implemented this solution, that they were purchasing millions of dollars worth of assets when they could have been borrowing them from other yards. So our solution is, of course, inventory management. Inventory management tracks serialized and non-serialized stock down to the bin, row, and letter. Fully understanding where your inventory is in your warehouse and across the company is important and something that we provide. Many organizations use our system as a checkout desk. This allows the inventory manager to assign out parts when a work order is processed. This is going to eliminate that spare parts leakage. Ultimately, you'll be able to run reports on any inventory data point, allowing you to see exactly how it's been being used. Being able to track and see your inventory will put control back into your hands and put money back into your pocket. So that's challenge 3. Let's move into challenge 4 real quick, which is inventory fulfillment. Maintenance can always be slow because you're waiting on parts. A perfect example is that car example I used earlier. Let's say that you scheduled it for maintenance or for maintenance at a dealership, and you scheduled this in advance. But when you get there, they're like, "Hey, it's still going to take 3 days to get your parts in." This also happens often with standard maintenance. In some cases, service companies do not know that they're missing parts until they start the labor on maintenance job. If you have a preventive maintenance, wouldn't you feel that it would make sense for you to know what jobs are coming up? Waiting on maintenance means that the asset might not be ready for the next job. We also see that it is a cumbersome process for most organizations to look for parts. Often they have to check the entire warehouse, or they have to call other yards and wait for them to check their warehouses. You need a repository where you know where everything is. The lack of visibility down the road can ultimately affect your customer service and your delivery. So this is where our 4th solution comes in, which is spare parts e-procurement. It's an inventory solution that allows you to track and order your spare parts. When a work order is triggered, our solution can provide your current stock levels of what is assigned or consumed. Our system also utilizes quantity thresholds. This lets you know when a stock item has fallen below an ordering threshold so that you can actually order more items. With the thresholds, you can trigger criteria-based approval processes for requisitions or automatically generate POs based on consumed inventory. The addition of purchase orders and requisitions in our FXEAM tool completes that replacement process, gives you visibility and control into your inventory costs. So Brady, I know that was a lot. Can you handle challenge 3 and 4 together?
Geez, Bobby, 2 challenges in 1. Thanks for making it so easy on me. So for challenges 3 and 4, I'll be switching gears and playing the role of an inventory manager here at Parquet Energy Services, where, again, we have our dashboard set up so we can quickly get an idea of what's going on relevant to our role. As we can see here, I've got stock items that need to be reordered, open purchase orders, open transfer orders by warehouse, and any requisitions that have been, or purchase order requisitions that have been created today. Doesn't look like we have any yet. Here at the top, I have access to all of my warehouses, my equipment, my purchase orders, transfer orders, and my stock items. So if we drill into the stock items, I can see here that I've got all of my stock items serialized or non. I can see my on order quantity, on hand quantity, my available quantity, and our reorder point. Let's take a look at how Field Effects EAM helps automate the procurement of inventory in the event my available quantity falls below my reorder point, which we can see here, we've got a couple items that look like they're getting close. So we'll go back into the work order that was just created for us on this pickup truck 17. Open this work order. We can see here that we've got our instructions. We've got our work tasks that have been assigned to this work order. We've got our planned stock items. This is where we could go in, and if we needed any more items from inventory, we could grab them here and add them to this work order. But for now, we've just got the planned inventory. We've got 6 quarts of oil, a filter, and some rubber gloves so we don't get our hands dirty. We can quickly see here that our inventory thresholds are green, letting us know that these items are on hand and we don't have to go order anymore or potentially transfer them in from another warehouse if we have them somewhere else. But as an inventory, before I get there, this is also where we could assign this work order to a maintenance technician or mechanic, or as mentioned earlier, a mechanic might be able to come in here and self-assign themselves to the work order. So now we've moved from ready to schedule to in progress. But going back to the inventory management, I need to issue some stock to this work order. So we go into create a new inventory transaction for our nitrile gloves. Let's just issue 2 in case we break one pair. So now we've issued our stock to this work order 219. We go back to our stock items and refresh this. Well, if we go back to our home screen, we'll see that this purchase order requisition was created for us because the items we issued to that stock or to that work order dropped our available quantities below our reorder point. So the system automatically created the purchase order requisition for us. By automating these functions, we eliminate many of the challenges associated with the inventory management and maintenance tracking methods of yesteryear. So with that, Bobby, again, thanks for making that one so easy for me by giving me 2 at once, but I think I completed them. What do you think?
Brady, you did great. 2 at once, way to go. So we got one left, which is challenge number 5, limited reporting. So one common complaint from prospective customers when talking about their old system is limited visibility of assets. Service companies often have to make strategic decisions without knowing the metrics on equipment and assets. Making decisions using poor information can negatively affect your bottom line. So our solution is simple. It's our strategic reporting. Our strategic reporting is very robust and flexible. We can report off of any data saved in the solution. You can understand the costs associated with maintenance, labor, and when connected with e-ticketing, you can see total profitability. We can use this data to understand why equipment is failing and how to avoid downtime. Reporting will ultimately help you provide better service to your customers. So Brady, that one was quick, but I know how easy reporting is in the system, so I think you'll do a great job with this one.
I sure hope so, Bobby. Challenge number 5, strategic reporting, accepted. So for this challenge, I'll be playing the role of an executive here at Parka. Today, I'm looking for some KPIs around my equipment and asset maintenance costs. To see this, I'll simply open my EAM executive dashboard. From here, I can quickly get a broad understanding of what's going on with my assets and maintenance costs associated with them. So here on this one dashboard, I've got a lot of information. I've got my most costly assets. Looks like this truck is costing me more than it should. My biggest reason for unscheduled maintenance looks like customer neglect. Maybe I need to find some new customers. I've got one asset due for retirement. My yearly cost of maintenance, planned versus actual. Again, something that I need to look into. Actual is way above the planned. My cost of assets purchases by type, and then work orders completed this month. To see how easy it is for an end user to edit or modify these reports, we can quickly drill into the report that's driving these dashboards. If I hit edit here, we'll see our report builder. Within the report builder, we have access to any and all fields in the system, be it those provided to us by Liquid Frameworks or custom fields that maybe we created on our own. They're instantly able to be leveraged for reporting and dashboards. And let's say I want to add an ID field, the asset ID field to this report. I just simply double click on it. It adds it to the report and automatically refreshes the data. Now I can save and run that. Also, I can follow my dashboards and subscribe to them. By subscribing to my dashboard, I can specify when I want to see these or when I want these reports refreshed and automatically sent to my email, and potentially others' emails as well. As an executive, I believe everything we've seen adds value to our internal business processes and helps my employees free up their time to really do more value-added tasks for the company, which I really enjoy. But beyond that, the reporting I'm able to get from FieldFX isn't possible with any other solution out there. By capturing both billable and non-billable transactional data from operations, as well as costing from EAM, I gained unrivaled visibility into our performance and the health of our business, which I really enjoy. So with that, Bobby, I think that completes challenge number 5. But before I'm done, I forgot I need to close out this work order before I can leave the shop for the day. So I'll simply mark this as complete. Now we're done.
Brady, you handled those 5 challenges like a champ. Good job.
Thanks, Bobby.
So that's really the demo portion of our 5 most common challenges with asset management. But the solutions we talked about make up what we call the 5 pillars of EAM. So I'm going to quickly go through these to you just as a summary. So we have preventative maintenance. That's really that proactive maintenance that will ultimately save you time and money. Work order management will give you that full picture of your asset and guide you through work orders. Inventory management will give you that control over your small parts, which is an aspect that's badly needed by a lot of organizations. E-procurement, that's those POs and requisitions that you can have automated within our system. And then strategic reporting, that really gives you that visibility into your organization.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Brady. That was really great. So now we're going to move into our questions and answers section. If you have a question, you'll see there's a chat section on the right-hand side. Just type it in there, and we will do our best to answer all of the questions. We do have a few in here. Can we buy EAM without buying e-ticketing? Bobby, you want to run with that one?
Yeah, I can take that. So while FieldFX is an integrated suite of modules, EAM could also be purchased without e-ticketing, just like e-ticketing can be purchased without EAM. So the answer is yes, you can separate those modules, but they do work really well together.
Great. Another question. We already have FieldFX. How long does it take to deploy EAM? Brady, you want to take that one?
Sure. So one of the primary benefits of FX EAM is that it is a part of our overall FieldFX suite. Therefore, if you already own e-ticketing and you've deployed it, your equipment will likely have been configured as part of that project. So effectively, a portion of the EAM project will have already been completed before it even starts, which will likely dramatically shorten the overall EAM deployment. If that makes sense.
Yes. Also, what types of tablets can we use with EAM? Brady, you want to take that?
So just like the rest of FieldFX, really, EAM can be used in conjunction with iOS, Android, Microsoft, really any device.
Okay. Brady, it looks like there's another question in here. With the PM, can the asset be removed from available selection of that equipment prior to the start of maintenance due to its usage?
With the PM, can an asset be removed from available selection? What was the end of that?
Of the equipment prior to the start of maintenance due to its usage.
Can be removed from available selection prior to the equipment usage. So remove it from
being able to be selected.
Of course, certainly. The system is designed for it for the workflow for that to be the use case. But that can be overridden if for some reason you want to allow it to go on to a job, for instance. But certainly, if a piece of equipment needs maintenance, we can disallow it from being scheduled on jobs.
All right. Okay, well that was the only questions that we got. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. I'd like to thank Chad Musgrove from TechFlow for being on the webinar, and I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Just a quick reminder, if you want to stay up to date with FieldFX, be sure to follow Liquid Frameworks on Twitter and LinkedIn. We also will have a recording of this webinar that will go out pretty soon after today, so probably tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. Have a great afternoon.